Those drivers that didn't make it to the grid on time will start from the pre-grid. So, the running order that was now showing up on your screens shows that Sławomir Morański will start from pole position. Alongside him will be Sebastian Humpelhardt from Germany. Thomas Schumacher and Tom Dessert, along with some of the others who have actually ended up being late for the pre-grid. They'll be starting from the pre-grid. Rudi Champion and Michael Becker, due to start 5th and 6th respectively, will look to be starting ahead of Rinaldo Kremiger, Konrad Bayer, Christoph Adams and Daniel Yildiz. So starting from the pre-grid will be Thomas Schumacher, Belgium's Tom Dessert, who is meant to start 3rd and 4th respectively, Bart Koeman, Karl Klebort, Bruno Dos Santos and Jonathan de Brouwer from France. So the drivers now making their way onto their formation lap. "14 minutes set on the clock for one final time, plus an additional lap. The throttles are being blitzed for one final time. It has been an emotional journey for us all. But one more race to see out the weekend in the best way possible. The revs and the accelerators will help the Rotax Raw scream once more this weekend here at the hallowed halls of karting Genk. Lights are out and we are racing. Now the remainder of the field makes their way out of the pre-grid. Looks to be being led by Thomas Schumacher. Then Karl Klebort, who's swapped into his Team Belgium overalls, it looks like. Tom Dessert, we've had a moment already, and that looks to be Michael Becker, I believe. Yep, the 526. Oh, Konrad Bayer goes around the outside and does a 360 through turn 4 and keeps it planted. Oh, the drama never stops in the Euro Trophy, and Konrad Bayer has just brought that one out just to bring something home to the party. Well, Konrad, you're meant to be pointing in the right direction, not spinning 360 in the process of going through a corner, but I think he might have just hit a little bit of wet tarmac there, and that spat the back end of the 508 around like a good one, like a spinning top, but Bayer manages to control it. But Morański is being chased down by Sebastian Humpelhardt. Now, we had this situation before, last time out at Karting Campillos, when Rudi Champion was battling away with Sławomir Morański as the two standout drivers in DD2 Masters in Spain. Morański won both heats, took pole position, took the win in final one. But there is always an if. There's always a little bit of negligible doubt that can come through. And that is if a driver ends up being overtaken for the race lead. Now I look at it at the moment, Sławomir Morański in the 561 has 25 points. as the 521 of Jonathan de Brouwer manages to get past Daniel Yildiz, who boots the throttle down coming out of turn 4, and the back end steps to the left and the right respectively. So Rumpelhart is currently on 20 points, Moransky currently on 25. Now if Rumpelhart takes the win, it'll be the same situation as what we had at the Winter Cup between Moransky and Champion. And as I say that, Rudy Champion now is up into third place at the moment. Obviously with the amount of drivers that were on that were not on time onto the grid and ended up starting from the pre-grid as a result. So when the start got underway, they would then be released. Another mention to all drivers: if you have taken possession of a transponder for use this weekend, please make sure you take it back to the race office, and also in the process collect your competition license. Christoph Adams is now trying to get past Michael Becker. Now, dramas for the Belgian in the first final would put him down into the penultimate position on the grid as he goes up the inside of Becker through turn 6. Now starts to pull away and looks to be one of 5 drivers in this class running on the Suricat chassis. And then Christoph Adams gets past Reinaldo Kremiger. Could I ask that senior Rotax driver 344, Kylian Tarnier, please report to the stewards immediately. Kylian Tarnier to the stewards immediately, please. Thank you. Just under 10.5 minutes remaining, and Moransky has a 5/10 of a second advantage over Sebastian Rumpelhart. Rudy Champion and Christoph Adams rounds out the top 4. Michael Becker in 5th. Reinaldo Kremiger in 6th place. Thomas Schumacher 7th. Konrad Bayer still in 8th place now, despite the 360 on the very first lap. I will have to give Konrad Bayer 9.5 when it comes to the style points, but for staying on the racing line, I think I'd give that a 3. I'm sure we'll see the funny side of this later. Karl Klebort rounding out the top 9 positions as Christoph Adams trying to get the upper hand on Rudy Champion and gets past for P3. So now Adams has a chance of trying to close the gap up ahead, but with 9.5 minutes remaining plus an additional lap, I think the main focus is going to be our 2 leaders because they are line astern going through turn 11. But then Moransky gets the power down, gets into turn 12 first, comes out of the final corner, puts the power down nicely and cleanly, and makes that kart steer and track true going through into turns 1 and 2 there. As now Rudy Champion coming under salvo fire, a warning shot across the bow from behind as Michael Becker going up the inside, or is he? No, he misses out going up the inside through into turn number 4, but behind is I think that is Reinaldo Kremiger from Switzerland, from KSCA Saudi Europe. And memory serving me correctly, he actually has taken a pole position in Euro Trophy history. And that is the case. Switzerland have 2 pole positions to their credit. Kremiger is one of them, and the other one is a driver who has gone on hiatus for 2020, and we look forward to having him back next year. FM Racing's Jan Schwitter, normally running the 427, if memory serves me correctly, in DD2. There's now Reinaldo Kremiger trying to close on Rudy Champion. That is for 5th position on the road. And now Kremiger sends it up the inside of the Winter Cup champion. Nicely done there. Through turn 6. Saw that Champion was starting to drift a little bit wide to the outside of turn 6. And the Swiss driver put it nice and neatly up the inside. But at the front of the field, coming down towards turn 10, Moransky and Rumpelhart interlocked in a chess game of DD2 Masters proportions. Last time around, the distance between first and second place was 0.710 of a second. Rumpelhart looks to have absolutely destroyed that lead roundabout now. That's 5.5 tenths of a second, and Rumpelhart has gone for the lead. Up the inside of Moransky through turn 2. 6 minutes and 43 on the clock to go. Moransky now has to just bide his time. Sorry, a bit of deep bass there. That's what he has to do now. Bide his time as Tom Dessert gets past, I think that is Karl Klebold, and they both also in the process got past Konrad Bayer. Now I do know for a fact that Konrad Bayer likes his drag racing, but Konrad, you know you've got to go around the corner, buddy. Just make sure you're not putting the hammer down too much coming out of the apex. Remember what happened on lap 1. 6 minutes and 8 seconds plus an additional lap still to go. And now Rumpelhart could do exactly what Rudy Champion did over 169 days ago. But I know the resolve. Let's not forget that the number 561 from 46 team has been through a lot recently. 46 team had a fire in their trailer which took out a significant amount of equipment and also directly affected Slavomir Moransky. He also, through adversity, came back to win the inaugural title at Wackersdorf in late September 2018, when no one saw it coming. And I think including the driver in third place at the moment, Christoph Adams, who was on the podium at the end of the year, and also, if memory serves me correctly, was runner-up last year to Roberto Pajewski. So, Roberto, I hope you're keeping well. Nice to have someone that does the clean sweep in the Euro Trophy side of things and then goes over to win the Grand Finals in Sarno in DD2 Masters. I mean, just saying. So I hope you're keeping well, Roberto. Hopefully to catch up with you soon at some point in the not distant future. But the lead is in the hands of Sebastian Rumpelhart from RS Competition representing Germany. Moransky was just over a quarter of a second off last time around. Gap looks to be slightly extending. Christoph Adams, in the meantime, has been setting the fastest lap and has done so again because it quickly went, I saw on the timing, it went Rumpelhart. No, it's Adams, Rumpelhart, Adams. And Adams has just gone in and put in a 1 minute 7.676. Michael Becker's just done nigh on 21 thousandths short, a 1 minute 7.697 on that lap. The two leaders, Rumpelhart running in the 1 minute 8.0s and Moransky running in the 1 minute 8.513 on that particular lap alone. So it is about how quickly Moransky can try and close. However, there's always a fly in the ointment whenever things try to transpire that as much as anybody wishes. And the way that Christoph Adams is fighting back. Now, obviously, first of all, he would have started down in 13th position ahead of alongside Tanja Yildiz. But because some of the drivers were late to the pre-grid, this gave the Belgian the perfect opportunity. And now, he is 5.5 tenths off of Slavomir Moransky, and these two know each other well. They battled together in the last couple of seasons. And I expect 2020 isn't going to be very different at all, because the way that Christoph Adams is just putting in the hot laps, but then we have Michael Becker from RS Competition in the 5.26 running out the top 4, putting in a 1 minute 6.914 on lap number 9. So all drivers seem to be, well, there is one driver that I'm just waiting on at the moment, and I think Tanja Yildiz has yet to come through to complete. Well, he is now. Last but by no means least, the nicest guy you would ever want to meet. Always smiling. Never have I seen him say, get aggressive at anybody. Always apologising. The most placid human being I've ever known. And it's so nice to have someone like that here. That kind of character, that kind of, you know, the person that never gets riled up, the person that never gets angry, and he's still willing to go out there and race and do his best. And sometimes the win, you know, it's not always about the winning, it's always about the taking part. And that's what I love about this championship, that I see so many people from different walks of life. And there are some people, as Tanya Yildiz nicely yields there, good spatial awareness for the FM racing driver in the 572. And never has a bad word to say about anybody. Never. I've heard nothing but praise and only good things about Tanya Yildiz. A true gentleman in every single sense of the word. And also all the syllables in that as well. Under 90 minutes, 90 seconds to go. 90 minutes, what am I thinking here? I could be up here all night. 1 minute and 20 seconds still to go. And Sebastian Humpelhardt is keeping ahead of Moransky. But Moransky has now started to try and respond. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race before quickly being deposed by 70 thousandths of a second thanks to Michael Becker in the process. And that just means he gets a name check as well, even though he is running fourth at the moment, the RS competition driver in the 526 representing Germany. So the gap now between first and second, last time around was 0.9. And Moransky is going to try and do the level best that is possible. And there is only so much that you can push and try to move as far forward as you can, but has kept a gap between himself and Christoph Adams in third place. Fourth is Michael Becker. Thomas Schumacher from KSB Racing Team rounds out the top five. A great job by Reinaldo Gremiger, who started 10th, now is in sixth place. Tom Dessert, Karl Klebold, Rudi Champion and Konrad Bayer round out the top 10 positions. As we now go on to the penultimate lap. And the gap has doubled. Moransky, I think, has just decided, well, at the end of the day, a championship is a marathon, not a sprint. So I think he's going to settle for the points. You know, they're both going to be on 45. They're going to both be leading the standings, leading this round, heading into Wackersdorf in just 4 weeks' time at the Pro Kart Raceland circuit. But I think in some way, shape or form, Sebastian Humpelhardt, despite having not the greatest qualifying heats that he probably would have liked, when it comes to the Euro Trophy, it's more a case of what you do on finals day that is more prevalent. Okay, you're not necessarily going to have the best qualifying heats order at the end of it all, but you do get a sense that the driver that does keep a little bit in reserve is the one to watch out for. And Humpelhardt, who now is on the final lap, has a lead of over 2.1 seconds on Slavomir Moransky. So we are now on our final lap of the weekend. We've had over 377 minutes, over 6.4 hours worth of racing and 34 races, 7 5-minute qualification sessions throughout the last 48 hours, starting at 4:30 on Friday afternoon. Sebastian Humpelhardt now comes through turn 9 for the last time. Puts down the accelerator hard. Down as there is a definitive dry line coming onto the circuit now as the racing action comes to its inevitable conclusion. And as fast as it came around, it was even quicker, seeing it fly on by. Slavomir Moransky now loses out to Christoph Adams on the penultimate corner. But, provisionally speaking, one hand in the air as Sebastian Humpelhardt from RS Competition takes the win provisionally, and with it, I think takes the weekend victory. Christoph Adams takes second ahead of Slavomir Moransky. Michael Becker takes fourth. Nice to see Tanya Yildiz give himself a round of applause just for getting to the finish. And that's really, really inspiring there. Tom Dessert, I think, was finishing in sixth place ahead of Reinaldo Gremiger. Karl Klebold takes eighth. Good job by Konrad Bayer from Germany with RS Competition in the 508 to finish in ninth place. Rudi Champion and Bruno dos Santos complete the top 11 positions. Bart Koolman will finish in 12th place. Jonathan de Brouwer from France and Tanya Yildiz round out the final finishing order of the weekend.